Would you use your own child's cancer diagnosis to close a sale? Because I did, and it worked better than I ever imagined it would. My name is Sarah, and when Emma was diagnosed at 6 years old, everything stopped. The world just paused. One day we're arguing about bedtime stories, the next we're learning words like chemotherapy and treatment protocols. The medical bills started immediately. Insurance covered some of it, but not the experimental treatments, not the specialists 3 states away, not the hotel rooms during her month-long stays. I was drowning financially before Emma even lost her first tooth to the chemo. I sold real estate then. Had been for 8 years, was actually pretty good at it. But after Emma's diagnosis, I couldn't focus. Couldn't fake enthusiasm about granite countertops when my daughter was throwing up in a hospital bed. My sales dropped to almost nothing those first few months. Other agents in my office started avoiding me. I don't blame them. I was a walking reminder that terrible things happen to good people. But I still had a mortgage. Still had Emma's prescriptions. Still had to eat. The first time it happened, it wasn't planned. I was showing a house to the Johnsons, a couple in their 50s looking to downsize. They were on the fence about the price. Nice house, but at the top of their budget. We're standing in the kitchen, and Mrs. Johnson asks what's wrong, why I look so tired. I should have said allergies or a late night. Instead, I told her the truth. About Emma. About the hospital visits. About how selling this house would help me afford her next round of treatment. They bought it that afternoon. Full asking price, no negotiations. Cash offer within a week. It was the fastest close I'd ever had. And I noticed something else. How they looked at me afterward. Like I was brave. Like I was doing something heroic just by showing up to work. Like they were helping save a little girl's life by buying a house they were going to buy anyway. I started mentioning Emma more often. Not lying exactly. She really was sick. The treatments were really expensive, but I began working it into conversations where it didn't quite belong. Talking about school districts with young families, I'd mention how important good schools are because my daughter missed so much class during her treatment. Showing luxury homes, I'd casually reference how medical bills teach you what really matters in life. Every story was true, every detail accurate. But I was using my daughter's suffering as a sales tool, and it worked. God, it worked so well. People wanted to help. They'd upgrade their offers, skip inspections they shouldn't skip, rush closing dates to help me get my commission faster. I became the agent with the sick kid. Other realtors started referring clients to me because I was the one who really needed the sale. Emma's cancer became my brand. I told myself it was for her. Every extra dollar I made went toward her care. I wasn't buying designer bags or fancy cars. I was saving my daughter's life. But late at night, when Emma was sleeping between treatments, I'd lie awake knowing the truth. I was profiting from her pain, using her vulnerability to manipulate strangers into giving me money. There was one couple, the Martins. They were looking at a house that was overpriced by at least $30,000. I should have told them that. Should have negotiated down or found them something better. Instead, I told them about Emma's upcoming surgery, how the experimental procedure wasn't covered by insurance, how every sale mattered right now. They paid full price for a house worth significantly less because they wanted to help a mother save her child. Emma's treatment was successful. The cancer went into remission after 18 months. The financial pressure lifted, but I kept doing it, kept mentioning her cancer in sales meetings. Kept using the story of her illness to close deals on houses that had nothing to do with her health. Even after she was better, even after the bills were manageable, I kept trading on her suffering because it worked. Because people trusted the agent whose daughter survived cancer. Because sympathy sells houses faster than square footage. Emma's 15 now, healthy and strong and completely unaware that her worst year became my best sales strategy. She thinks I'm successful because I work hard. And maybe that's true. But I also know that I built my career on her cancer diagnosis. Every house I sold, every commission I earned, every client who chose me over another agent. How much of that was because they felt sorry for the mom with the sick kid? I still use her story sometimes. Not as often, but when a deal is falling through or a client seems hesitant, I'll mention how grateful I am for my work after everything our family went through. It's not technically lying, but it's not exactly honest either. She survived. We both did. But I'm not sure I can survive the guilt of knowing that her suffering made me successful. What would you have done? Tell me in the comments.